I know some folks are still coming in from lunch, and some went to grab notebooks for everybody. But I do want to get started just in the essence of making sure we fill out all of the time that we have. I'll start by saying, I don't know if this is going to take the full 90 minutes. We're just going to go through what we need to go through, and there should be plenty of time left for questions. I don't think anyone's going to get mad. No one's going to be mad if we get done before the 90 minutes are over, right? I didn't think so. Awesome. Yes, you will get your money's worth.
That's right.
All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bryan Bales. I work for the Washington State Art Commission. I am the program manager of the Wellness, Arts, and the Military program. We're going to call it WAM for the rest of the day, but I just want to get that out first.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and I'm the administrative assistant for the Wellness, Arts, and Military program.
Perfect. So what we're going to do today, and what you guys are here for today, is we have two awesome grants that went live today. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that everybody who wants to apply to our funding is going to have the best possible chance of having that application be successful, because that's what we want. We want to fund people. We don't want to say no to people. So we want to give all of you the tools to be able to put together the best application that you can moving forward. So what we're going to do today is we are going to, essentially, I'm going to pull up the application. I'm going to show all of you how to get to the application. We're going to scroll through the application, and I'm going to show you everything that you need to do to fill it out to be successful for both of our grants. And then for our self-directed arts practice grant, which we will call SAP the rest of the day, we're going to go through some successful applications and not successful applications, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what's going to work and what isn't going to work. All right, is there anyone in the room, if you feel like raising your hand, has anybody in the room been a SAP grant recipient of us before? Amazing. Amazing. Thank you all for being here. Just know I will call on you at some point to talk about the process of the SAP grant. Do we have any organizations who have done our general operating support in the room? Perfect. Hey. And we will call on you at some point as well when we talk about that. So really, we just want to make sure that you guys are successful about our grant. So let's get into it. You want to hit the next one?
Yeah.
All right, so this is us. Dania could not be here today. She is actually not on this continent right now. She is in Kyrgyzstan visiting family. I actually had to call her, I think it was last week. I had to call Dania last week because there was an error on something. And I was like, hey, I hate to call you on vacation. Are you around your computer? She's like, hey, I'm in Istanbul. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, never mind. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So what we're going to start with is we are going to start with our self-directed art practice grant. For those of you who haven't been to our booth, has everyone here been to our booth? Has anyone not been to our booth yet? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, if you haven't been there, highly encourage you to go check it out. There is a gallery there of artists who have shown their work for all of you guys to be able to take a look at the work that they did with our funding. Raise your hand if you are one of those artists who have work out there. Yes, awesome. It's awesome. All right, so our self-directed art practice grant, right? It's up to $3,000 per individual to do an art project. What is that project? What constitutes as an art project? I don't know. What do you view as art, right? It's so subjective. I can tell you that we have funded so many different forms of art from, we got a Dungeons and Dragons crew right here who writes D&D, who paints minifigures, right? And you can see their display. We've got fine art of painting, photography. We've got a sculptor out there. I funded comedians. I funded a magician our first year. It was awesome, yeah. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, man, sorry. We funded barbecue. We funded cooking, like all sorts of different fine art, woodworking, metalworking. Like, if there's something that you want to do do it. We could videographers, podcast, all sorts of different types of things. So, music, yes, thank you, John. Music, that's a big one, right? So we're not going to be the ones who are going to like put the damper on what you want to do, right? And no experience is necessary, okay? If you don't have to be a professional artist to apply for our grant. You could be like, hey, I want to try this, right? Now, when it comes to that though, there are some things in the application that you want to like look out for, and we'll kind of go through that if you want to learn something for the first time. So we do have, there are some requirements that come with the grant. Every grantee has to take our 8-week course with our teaching artist, Luz Thompson. It's a fantastic course. I will say we have toned it down from last year. The last couple of years it was 2 hours once a week. Now it's down to 1 hour once a week. And we have posted all of the dates of when those classes are going to be in the application. So all of you will be able, there's going to be 2 different dates with 2 different times. You'll be able to pick the one that best works for your schedule. But that is a requirement of the grant. We have to have that. So it's open now. It closes on October 1st at 11:59. The earlier that you guys put in your application, the better it's going to be. We are happy to work with folks. Like if you submit an application and you want us to take a look at it and say, hey, can you tell me how this looks? Is there anything that I'm missing? We will 100% work with you. But when you get down to like the last week, the last day of submitting an application, we're just not going to have time to be able to put that in. So the earlier you do it, the better.
Yep.
You got anything to add on that?
We are doing office hours as well this time around. So if you do need help throughout the application process, you will see on our website our emails and me directly, Gabriella Smith. You'll see my email in the WAM webpage. If you email me and say, hey, I need an hour on Zoom to walk through the application with you, I'm happy to do that when we have a time that's convenient.
Perfect. So it closes October 1st, right? December 1st is when we start to send out notifications to everybody that whether you awarded, whether you were not awarded the grant, okay? We have enough funding for the SAP grant for 50 individuals. It's a lot, but it also doesn't seem like a lot. Unfortunately, that's just the funding that we have for this program. But we do have the folks who are eligible for this grant is service members, veterans, their family members, so spouses and children who are over 18 are all eligible for this grant. We do give priority to the military member, and we give priority to first-time grantees. So we encourage returning grantees to apply. We want that. We love your guys' experience. We love the energy that you guys bring into this program, but we do give priority to first-time grantees. All right, I just did that. So additionally, we just did that. So who can apply? So additional requirements, you do have to get a statewide vendor number. That's how we pay you. That's how we give you the funding. It's super easy to do. The process to do it is on the application. And if you guys have trouble with that, myself, Gabby, or Dania, happy to help out and help you get that thing going. But it's all pretty much online now. You can apply, you can do it all online, and then they send you the number in like 7 to 10 business days.
And the Office of Financial Management on the website, if you contact the payee register desk at their email, they will also help you directly.
Yep, perfect. All right. All right, so why don't we save this? Let's show folks how to get to the application. So we're gonna start with SAP. Yes. Yeah. Can I have you talking to the mic for the recording?
Okay.
Sorry. Put you on the spot there.
Yeah. The classes that are required,
Yes.
are they in person only?
Oh, no, they're Zoom. They're all done online. Sorry, I should have specified. So our teaching artist is located in California. So yeah, all the classes will be via Zoom, and she sends everybody a workbook. Well, one a week, but yeah, there will be 2 different classes a week. You need to attend one of them for 1 hour. All right, so on our website, this is where you can find our grant and apply.
Who's that? It's John.
Oh yeah, hey, there's John.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, so you'll see John and me on the page that you need to be at.
Yep.
And we go down. The operating support grant is on the top.
It says they're closed, but they're not. They're open.
They're open.
The website needs to get updated, so
Yep.
ignore that part. They are open, I promise.
It is the first day. So.
Yes.
Okay, if we click on that, you'll see us again. Scroll down to where it says click here to apply for WAM SAP grant.
And we're gonna walk you guys through the entire application, so you guys
Yes.
will be able to kind of see it all.
All right, so when you get to this page, obviously there's information about the SAP grant, what is allowed for your costs, such as in-state travel, artist workshops, art supplies, childcare. You must also provide a plan, 3 art samples, and a simple budget. Tells you the deadline, the important dates, eligibility, which we just talked about. Of course, a statewide vendor number. If you click this right here, since it's underlined, it will take you to more information on how to get that statewide vendor number. Required documents. So it does give a long list.
So you have to upload some sort of veteran documentation, right? So that can be a DD-214 with like your social blacked out, or your driver's license with the veteran identifier on there, VA ID card. Yeah, Shiloh.
How does it work if somebody's supposed to provide 3 samples but they don't have that experience?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if you don't have experience, if you're learning something new for the first time, you can provide samples of maybe other things that you have done. It doesn't have to be like, hey, I want to learn how to play guitar, but I've never played a guitar before. Obviously, but here's other things that I've done in my life. Here's other things that I've done that just it's able to show like effort. Yeah, it's able to show effort, right? And be able to put in what you're going to do. Yeah, Peter.
So for me, I didn't have a sample of what I was going to do this last time, but what I did is I got things that looked like what I'm going to do and say, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, and I can show that this is what it's going to be. Because again, I didn't have them yet. And also I'd said like, this is what I currently, what it currently looks like what I do, but this is what it will look like, so it can show what my progression is going to be for the grant.
Yeah. Do you have another hand raised over here? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 questions.
Yeah.
Well, first one, when you said there's the 2 gates.
Yes.
2 classes.
Yeah.
So the question is, for those mandatory classes, if you have something that comes up like a work schedule that doesn't allow you to attend one of those per day, is there anything about missing a class that you get cut from the grant?
No, you won't get cut from it, but yeah, go ahead.
So what Luz does is she actually posts online, so like if you can't miss so many, but like if you cannot make either one from that week, she puts a recording and you have to watch the recording and you still have to do all the stuff from that week so that you don't get behind. So like, I think it's like 1, maybe 2, but like she prefers you not to miss, but if something that can't be prevented happens, you're not screwed.
Yeah. Like life happens, right? Life happens. You might miss a class here and there. She does post the videos, so you're able to watch them. You're able to do the workbook. You're still able to connect with her. You're able to connect with us. And if something like that does happen, something comes up, just let us know. Like that's the most important thing. Is just communicate with us and communicate with Luz if you have to miss a class. That's the most important thing.
Yep.
All right.
Driving on. So go down.
Okay, so I really want to talk about this part right here. So we'll scroll up a little more, or scroll down a little more. Down, sorry. All right, so right there. So what we can't use funds for, and these have been, some folks have put together really great applications for us in the past, and we've had to deny them because one of the things is like, people have put in stuff for like a startup for a small business, right? And that's not what we do. We don't fund businesses. You can't, everything that you do has to be in Washington State because this is a state-funded grant program. Anything, if you're trying to purchase permanent equipment over $3,000, that's not gonna work either. And then there's also kind of a thing about equipment that I want you guys to know. So like other unsuccessful applications that we've had when it comes to equipment, we've had, I can remember our first year in operation, we had folks who, I can think of one specifically who they were applying because they wanted to learn videography, and which is great. We want people to apply for that kind of stuff, but then what they were asking for was a camera that took up the entire budget and left no sort of funding left for training on like how to use it. So if you are going to be purchasing equipment, make sure that it's something where you're still going to have funding left over to get training on how to operate that equipment. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, because we want, like I said, we want to fund people, but there are certain things that we can't, that we won't do. All right, tuition assistance for college, right, or universities. That's not to say you can't take, if there's like a college course that you want to take that's like, and taken as non-credit, you can use funding for that, but you can't use it for credit-seeking work. If that makes sense. I say if that makes sense a lot. So that's like my So just bear with me on that. I'm going to say it 500 more times today, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So costs. If you do any costs outside of the grant period, we're not going to cover funds for that. Because so the way that state grants work is it's more of a reimbursement, right? And so one of the reasons why we brought the class in and we make the class a requirement is so that it's an easier way for us to get funds to you guys. Because one of the barriers that we had our first year in operation when we didn't have a class was it was just 100% reimbursement rates where people would have to send us their receipts and then we would reverse them. And some of the feedback that we got from that was like, well, we don't have the funding. I don't have the money to pay for a $2,000 camera or lens or guitar or whatever it might be. And so that was a barrier. So we installed the classes. So after you attend the first class is when you submit for the reimbursement for the first half of the grant. And then when you attend the last class, that's when you get the funds for the second half of it. All right. Let's see. Previous losses incurred to the individual. We're not going to pay your credit card bills, right? We're not going to pay for contest fees. We're not going to pay for mass-produced items for retail, for the most part. There are exceptions for that, right? If you're a writer and you're doing a poetry book or a novel or something like that, we do work with writers in books and things like that. So there are exceptions, but if you're trying to like mass-produce a little trinket or something like that to get sold, that's probably not going to get funded. Costs or activities that have already received state funding. So if you applied for a grant from somewhere else, you can't use our grant to help funding towards that other state grant funded project. Make sense? All right. And then some important thing, when our deadline hits, We're not going to be able to, we cannot make exceptions past that October 1st at 11:59. So if you don't get your application in on time, that's, I'm sorry, you could try again next year. All right? All right, so after that, we review, there's a whole panel process, so we review applications, our applications are scored, and we're gonna go through that process for you guys. So, the applications get scored, and then it gets decided based off the scores, the top 50 scores will get funded. All right? All right, you wanna head to the application, or yeah, you can scroll down, and you can get to,
Here's my email.
yeah, those are emails. Oh, if unsuccessful applications can appeal. If you don't get funded and you think you should get funded, just hit this site right here and you are well within your right to appeal the grant funding. And this is all on our website too, so you'll have full access to all of this information. I haven't had anybody appeal yet. I've had people say they were gonna appeal and never did, but more than welcome to. Yeah, Shiloh.
How do you suggest people organize their art if they're not like I write poetry create software or computer, but like how people have trouble thinking about how can I apply this grant to my art and get it to people. Is there any help connecting those dots?
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand, so how, like, if someone, like, can we help facilitate, like, getting your artwork out for other people? Is that kind of what you're asking?
No.
Oh.
Understanding how to use the program effectively. Like if I write poetry and I'm a poet and I want to use the program and I want to make sure I don't waste any of it.
Sure.
Is there any assistance in that way?
Yes, yeah, we'll help you guys all along the way, and that's one of the great things, so like, having help using the grant, using the program properly, that's one of the great benefits of Luz's class, the design thinking for creative expression. She really like, has a full 8-week plan to really from like, concept design to budget to all the way through the finish, and she works with you guys. That's one of the main purposes why we brought her in to do this class.
And then do you provide 3 finished products like you did 3 examples? Or is there no?
So, he asked if we provide, if there's 3 finished products or examples. So, no, we do have a final report at the end where you need to upload like photos or videos or whatever it is that you've worked on, that you accomplished through our funding. After that, it's yours to keep. And whatever you decide to do with it is up to you. Yeah, of course. All right. How about we take a look at that app? Oh, question, yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
What if I wanted to do something?
You're good.
What if I wanted to do something that requires like multiple different things? Like I want to paint or draw or something like that. Would also like to, I guess, put it out there through like videography or video editing, things of that nature. Could I use the grant for multiple things? Like one serves the other?
Absolutely. Yeah. Your project, however you want to, if you want to do multiple things within your project, 100% yes. Yeah, she did. And you can look at her work too, like she did some great stuff. So there's no limits, right? As long as you meet the criteria, as long as it falls within your budget and it's feasible for you to do, please, by all means, do all of the stuff. Absolutely. All right, let's go to our budget, or to our form.
All right, so at the end of this page, you click submit. It'll load you back, and you will see the same stuff. Don't fear, just keep going
Yeah, they make us put it in here multiple times.
so that you see.
Yeah.
But here we go. This gives you a starting point about the application again. Tells you what we just said. It also explains the points, but we'll go over that
Yep.
in a second. So let me just get down to where it starts the
Perfect.
application. Here we go. So, all right. So
Go ahead.
when you start off, it's just going to be information about yourself, your legal name, your address, county. If you can't find your legislative district, you just go underneath to District Finder to find that.
And we ask that because one of the things we have grantees do is, because we're state funded, we depend on the legislators to fund us. We ask our grantees to write a letter to their state representative to let them know what they did, and it was through our funding to make that possible, because we want to keep giving this grant for as long as they'll let us, and we want them to stop like taking funding and instead give us funding so we can expand the grants that we do. So maybe those letters are tedious. If they are, I'm sorry, but they really are helpful.
Yes. Then you choose your art discipline. If you are unsure, there is an other at the end, and that's also for if you're multidisciplinary.
Yep.
Of course, your eligibility, required documents.
And you don't have to put all of them, you just pick the one that works for you. So there's a bunch of different ones
Thank you.
in here that you just find the one that is eligible for you. So some of the questions that we've had about eligibility of like, if it's a spouse, right? You need to do like an ID for the spouse, a marriage certificate, and then the service member or veterans ID, some sort of identifier, so a DD-214, like I said before, or a VAID card, whatever it might be. Same with a child, birth certificate, or a stepchild. If it's a stepchild, that's okay too. It's just an added piece. You got to do the marriage certificate in there as well. But we do grant to stepchildren too. And then this is, have you ever received one in the past, right? Again.
Does not disqualify.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't disqualify you, but we are going to give priority to first-time applicants.
Here's where you add your statewide vendor number. This is not required when you start the application. So if you don't have it by the time you start it, that's okay. If you do, that's great.
Yep. You will have to have one. If you're a first-time applicant, you don't need to do this right away. We have it in here in case you want, if you already have one. Because a lot of people already have one. They've gotten grants in the past, or they've done stuff with the state. Yes, let me run the mic to you. No, you're good.
What if you're,
Okay.
what if you're a spouse or maybe an adult child of a veteran, but they're estranged? Like, I use the Intimate Partner Violence Assistance Program coordinator, so I run this occasionally.
Okay.
So you may not have a way to get a hold of that document because the veteran is not available and or wouldn't provide it.
Okay, that's,
So legally,
yeah. We haven't had that issue pop up yet, so if you have someone who's interested, just have them connect with us, and we'll do what we can to work with that individual.
Is there someone to assist with getting this statewide vendor number? Like, once the program's already started, is there a class or something?
Super easy.
So, if you just hit the link, you'll be able to apply for it, and then Gabby and Dania will help you guys if you are having some issues getting it taken care of.
Yep.
And if you were selected for a grant, we will make sure that you get you'll get a statewide vendor number before, because we have to have that before we even
Give the payment.
give payments and give contracts out and all of that stuff. So,
Yep.
all right. So this, we want to know if there's a conflict of interest. If you have a relative, a family member, a friend who works at ArtsWA, it's not a disqualifier. We just need to know for full transparency, right? So I've had people that I know, friends of mine, who have applied for the grant, and so when that happens, when it comes to, I have to sign like a conflict of interest waiver, and then when it comes time to decide who gets the grant, when that person's name comes up, I left the room, and I wasn't a part of the discussion. So it's not going to disqualify. It's more of the transparency. We just want to know if that makes sense. All right, and again, you're going to have to write your name down again, primary grant contract or contact name. We just want to know. We got to get that information in there as much as we can. And here's
the part that starts.
Yes, here is the graded part, right? So project title is just, if it's not, well, this isn't a project, it's just a title, right? So this is where you put in what you want to do, right? Here's what I want to do for my project, right? And then tell us about what you hope to complete. So this is all scored now. So the more detail that you put, the better it will be. And we're going to go through, once we go through this application, we're going to go through good examples, we're going to go through bad examples, right? But what I can say about these applications is the more detailed information that you put in, the more you plan this out, the better your application is going to be.
Yep.
So we did put some examples.
Yeah, so like if you have benchmark dates, they don't have to be specific, but if you do say through February to May, I'm going to be working on this part of the project. Things like that really do help.
Yeah.
in scoring.
Yep. And then what preparations have you made? So some great examples of this is like, hey, I've carved out from 6 to 8 o'clock 3 times a week so I can dedicate time to this project. Or, I have, if you have kids, I have kids, right? So if you have kids, you can be like, these are the days that my kids are at sports practice and I don't have to go watch them, right? So I can stay home and I can work on my project. I can dedicate. We want to know just what types of preparations that you've made, right? That this isn't just something that you're throwing together off the top of your head to get $3,000,
Yep.
essentially, right?
And if you are purchasing large equipment, again, telling us that you're gonna try and do some type of training or workshop or.
Yep. Yep, so really do your research. And then here's something that we allow. So we do a living allowance, 20% of your grant. So if you get the $3,000 grant, you can put, what is that, 600?
Yep.
600 of it. I'm a Marine, so math, not so good.
Don't worry.
You can, it's written down, look at that. So 600 of that can be used for living expenses. So if you need to take like some time off of work or whatever it might be to do your project, you can put $600 of that grant towards like housing or food or childcare or whatever it might be, but just plan and indicate it in the budget form, right? So then the other 2,400 would go towards your actual project, right? All right, and then we want to know what your, scroll back up, what your single biggest expense is going to be during the grant cycle, right? So that's what I was talking about with equipment, right? So if you are, like, we've had people purchase kilns, we've had people purchase, cameras, lenses, things like that. If you are purchasing a piece of equipment, in the photos that you send us of art samples, please make sure that you are able to show that either A, you know how to use that equipment, or indicate in here that that you're going to take some training to learn how to use it. Okay, that is the biggest. That is probably, I don't know, Gabby. That's probably the biggest like disqualifier that we get from these applications is people trying to purchase equipment that's either too expensive or they don't know how to use. Right. And then this one, if you need any support from us, let us know. We're here to make sure that your grant is successful. We're here after your grant is over with us if you're successful. So like if you want support, like if you're a writer and you want to go set up, do some readings at a local bookshop or whatever that might be, connect with us. Let us know what your needs are after the grant or during the grant, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that that we can help you guys out. All right, and then here's another one. So anytime, because we're state funded, we're funded through taxpayers, we have to have some sort of public benefit, right? So what can you do for your community? And it doesn't have to be like, hey, I'm doing an art showing. I'm gonna make a big gallery of my work and invite all of the community to come in. It could be something like serving those who serve, bringing your art. Whatever you create, the serving those who serve, is showing it to the folks. It can be if you took an art class, if you learned if you learned watercolors, right? Or if you took some photos and you want to take them to your kids' school and do a workshop or show your photos or show your film, whatever it is that you create, find a way to have that, bring that for the community. Does that track with everybody? Does that make sense? I'm trying not to say it, but then I just say it more. All right. So this is the biggest piece. This is 50 points, right? So is going to be your budget. So the total amount requested, it doesn't have to be $3,000. It can be less than $3,000, whatever that you need, but $3,000 is the maximum. And then we've got the budget sheet. So Gabby, you are the budget wizard here for this. So.
Definitely. So what we discussed that is allowable, you will see different line items for, and when you're creating your budget, you have to basically section out that monies per these line items. So let's say you want that big piece of equipment, that will go down here in equipment and technology. If you have something that you don't know which line item it would be, you can write it under other expense, and we've had that a decent amount of times, and we review that in the panel process. Once you add up all of your monies, you'll have the total down here, but we also, again, ask that you add it into the grant amount requested at the top. The stipulations with the budget sheet, because there are a few, if you do certain things, you might pop up with errors. The main one is no dollar signs. Decimals are okay, but don't add dollar signs, just add like 1.65 if it's $1.65 or something like that. Because if you add the dollar sign, then it'll just come up with errors. And if you have, again, trouble with the budget sheet, a lot of times we understand that there are complications to it because it is not as, the submittable site itself doesn't really do well for the budget sheets.
Correct.
So we understand that, and that's okay, as long as you are expressing within the sections the rough estimates about what you want to get. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she asked if the application was only online and if we have it on paper. Unfortunately, it is only online.
Yeah.
And I'll add to that once I see your hand raised. I'll add to that. Be as thorough as possible on this budget. This is the biggest killer of one of the biggest killers of the application is not having a good budget. So make sure, do your research on what you want and find those items that you want to purchase and make sure that you put it in. Sir, did you have your hand raised for a question? Yeah, you mind if I hand you the mic?
I'm just concerned about taxable income. I understand that certain grants would be allowed, like on an individual basis. If payee happened to be me and not my project name, that grant would then become taxable income, right?
Yes, it is taxable, and so you do have to account that if you, let's say, request the 3,000, when it comes time to tax season and you have to write down that 3,000, 10% of it will be.
Well, whatever your taxes
Yeah,
are, but
whatever
you will get a what is it, a W-9?
Yes.
You will get a W-9. Unfortunately, there isn't anything that I can do about that. That's way above my pay grade. If I could make it to where I didn't have it be taxed, I totally would. But unfortunately, it is taxable income. So keep that in mind when you are applying.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, build it into your budget.
So with the budget being that specific, if somebody knows, I want to make videos, so I need a laptop, I need a program.
Yep.
A camera, if they just fill out those 3 blocks and the rest are NA, but it covers their money.
That's fine. Yeah, so he asked if he only needed 3 things, if he wanted to do videos, and all he needed was a laptop, a program, and a camera. If he just put those 3 things in there and it covered his budget, would he be okay? And the answer is yes, it would absolutely be okay. If that's what you need for your project, then that's totally fine. Just make sure whatever camera you purchase, make sure that you're able to demonstrate that you know how to use it, right? Because I'll tell you what, me personally, I took some short film classes at college and I fell in love with it. And I bought a camera that I had no business buying. I didn't know how to use it. I ended up just selling it at a massive loss just to get rid of it. So it is an important thing. We want you guys to be successful, and so if you're gonna buy something like a camera, just make sure that you know how to use it. That's all.
Yep. And if there's a certain type of equipment that you want suggestions on, like user-friendly, email us, and we have representatives in our office that work with different types
Yep.
of art mediums who might be able to suggest a certain
Yep.
type of camera.
Absolutely. All right. Any other budget questions before we move on?
Yes.
Do we have one? No? Okay, cool. So another piece that scored 20 points possible, you want to score around, is work samples. And we're not judging whether your work samples are good or bad, right? What we really want is, if you're sending photos, send good photos, right? If you're sending a video, send a good video, right? With good picture, good sound, so we can see it. Again, it's about the dedication and the time that you put into it and showing us that this is something that you want to pursue.
And one thing to add to that is, if you are just putting in, the model of what you want your art to be, please add 3 minimum. Even
Yep.
if it's, just the thought process of it.
Yep.
Because we've had people that just put 1 image in, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That won't
Yep.
qualify.
Minimum of 3. Please, if you want to add more, you can add up to 10, I think, is what it allows for.
Yep, 10.
So, hey, look at that, it's written down. But yeah, up to 10. You can provide up to 10 different samples, but make sure you do a minimum of 3.
Yes.
Or if you like have a website or something like that, if you scroll up and you want to do that instead,
Yes.
you can provide a link to your website or where you've done other stuff as well.
It's different.
Yeah. Okay, down to the class now, okay? So, we asked, you can select which one works for you. So we've got a lunchtime class on Tuesdays, or we've got a 5 to 6 class on Thursdays. And those are all of the dates that all of the classes are gonna be. So to help give you guys the most information that you can in order to be successful. So it's all there for you, pick which one. Again, if you need to switch, if something comes up, you need to switch, that's fine, just communicate with us, just let us know, right? Send us a message, send Luce a message. We're more than happy and willing and want to work with you guys. So yeah, that is our application. Yes, I'm gonna bring you the microphone now.
Thank you. I don't know if this was asked, so please forgive me if it was, but what's the max number of participants per the 8-week cohort? And if someone drops out, do you pull from the waiting list?
That's a great question. So the maximum amount that we have is 50. That's what we have funding for. And if someone pulls out, it kind of depends. So it kind of depends on how long. Like if someone pulls out halfway through, we don't have enough time to.
Get it approved by the board.
Yeah, because the way that it works is we have a board, and so our grants we recommend, we do our recommend, and then it has to go to a board. It has to go to the board to vote to ratify our decision. They always, I mean, it pretty much, they don't like tell us no, but that's the process that we have to do. So it would really depend if we were able to do that or not. I wish I could give you a better answer but if it's early, we would certainly try to.
Yes.
We would certainly try to if it was early.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. All right, do you want to pull up,
Examples?
yeah, a couple of, maybe just one of each, maybe a good one and a not great one?
Sure, we'll start with the good.
Okay, so this was a good. So we're gonna just go down to the scoring piece, all right?
There we go.
All right,
Oh, and this is just again, like the information that we.
yeah, this is the information. So, all right, here's to the actual application. So here we go right here, time and space and knowledge, lacking some materials, right, on limited budget. They told us what their background is. They tell us, you know, they attended a jeweler program, and so they have the equipment, and they just lack the consumables, and so they wanted to do some jewelry-based projects, right?
They did ask for the allowable living expense as well,
Mm-hmm.
and then explain their biggest expense.
Yep. So their biggest expense was the material that they needed to work on their project.
The rocks.
We asked for what support. So as you can see, like this person, they really they wrote their stuff out. They wrote out what they wanted to do. They tried to be as specific as possible, right? And then even this, like how do you send it forward this to your community? I'm sharing my photos online to my friends and my family and my community of the work that I've done and entering in local design shows, set up a display at the Seattle VA Hospital for veterans to see, right? So there's different ways that you can find a community benefit. It doesn't have to be, there's no one way to do that. All right, and this is just some of the other expenses. So like they weren't able to fit everything, all of the stuff, so they were able to add another expenses, add down the different pieces that they wanted to do and the prices. So you see each one, they did the research, right? They got the prices down and then added it all up to what the amount was gonna be.
Yeah, they had a good amount.
It's a long list. It's a really long list.
Yeah,
You can scroll, I think they get the point.
yep.
And then,
Samples.
yeah, a ton of different samples, right?
And then the proof,
Yep.
and that was it.
Yeah, so that is a successful application. And again, the earlier you start on our application, the earlier we will work with you. If you need help with your application, we're a resource, right? We can't promise that your application is gonna get picked, but what we can do is we can work with you to help make sure you have your best foot forward to doing the best application that you can. All right, let's look at a not great application. This is what a not great application looks like.
There's no crayon.
There's no crayon, yeah. Listen, if you guys slip me crayons, it's a snack.
You are worried.
I'm not saying it's gonna help you, but it's not gonna hurt you. What's that? This one's fine. So, this one, the reason this one didn't get funded, you remind me why this one didn't get funded, Gabby?
It's the light bulb one.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll put you on this. I did the last one, you get to do this one.
Well, we would say that the main reason it wasn't funded was it's a lot of light bulbs. And we understood that light bulbs are going to be a big part of the project, but the actual order of operations for the project didn't make sense for why that many light bulbs were needed. And then secondly, not only the light bulbs, but I wish I could show the video, but it was just a video of one light bulb turned on. So
That was it.
That was it.
That was it. So the idea for this one was, they were gonna walk around, they were gonna talk to people at their homes, and then put light bulbs up at their house. And like, I don't know, that wasn't really something that necessarily fit what we were trying to do and trying to accomplish with our grant, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, I definitely have a no solicitor sign on my door that everybody still seems to ignore, even though it's there. And then he wanted to put light bulbs like in the driveway, in just different spots, and I was like, I don't know, like I don't want, like, we're getting into some weird stuff here with like people's electricity and the city of like installing stuff, and it was just a no.
Yeah.
Right? So make sure that what you're trying, and if you want to do something like this, please talk to us before you submit the application, right? We will tell you, if you have an idea,
Yes.
if you have something that you want to do, but you aren't sure if it's something that fits, just talk to us. We'll tell you. We'll be like, yeah, that's not really something that fits our program. Okay?
Was that total just the light bulbs and the cost of living?
Yes.
And a ladder.
And a ladder.
And a ladder.
So the total, the entire project was 200 light bulbs.
And again, if you have a project like that, like that's okay, but just
Yeah.
contact us.
Yeah, and we'll let you know, like, hey, this isn't something that works, or you know what? Tell me more about it. Let's figure out. We don't want to tell people no, right? We want to tell you guys yes. So
Yeah.
try, like, work with us. We are happy to work with each and every one of you
Yeah.
on making sure that your applications are successful, making sure that your projects are feasible. All right?
I think that if you want to show
Okay.
here's one that was really detailed. It had a lot of information about what they wanted to do in their garden. And gardening is, yes, an art form, but the actual project revolved around canning, mainly about food preservation. And we just thought that that would have been a better grant application for like food and agriculture
Yes.
versus what our purpose of the grant was.
Yeah, if it was a gardening grant, or if it was something for like, for gardening, that is something that we do support, but the canning piece and the food preservation made it more in line with like an agricultural farming grant or food preservation, so that was why this one did not get funded. So this is an example of a good application, but wrong project.
Yeah.
Is that just wording? If they had said the project is farm to table and all of the gardening stuff?
Say that again? Oh, on the.
Are just worded poorly if they had said that the project itself was doing the gardening, doing the collecting, and then canning? Would that have been different than we're just gonna can a bunch of stuff? Like this, the way you articulated it?
It matters. I don't know if that would have helped this one or not, but the way you articulate it definitely does. It can hurt. Get it? Can? Got it? All right. I'll see myself out.
Or just to piggyback off of that, like if it was more like the purpose of like creating videography and educational videos off of that, is that more?
100%. Yeah, that would work.
Yes.
That would work. Yeah.
Yes. And that's a community element too.
Yep. That's a community element. Absolutely. All right. what do you say we get into our,
Oh, yeah, we got.
oh, actually, I would like to take a second, if any of our grantees in the room, would like to say, like, our staff grantees in the room would like to say a word. Because honestly, one of the biggest things we get kind of, pushback is people don't want to go to the class. And I understand, we all are busy, we all have lives, but would somebody want to like speak to the class for just a quick second? We'll start with Julie and then Peter, just real quick.
So guys, I love the class. I have undiagnosed ADHD and deadlines are hard, all right? You all know the rush of I have to do what when, and the class did a really great job of keeping me on task. It made sure my artist bio was done. It made sure that all the critical things that needed to be done were done so that I could focus on my actual grant process, the actual art that I was doing, instead of, I have to write about myself, what? So I appreciated it. I really appreciated it.
The thing about, that I found kind of weird about the class, like, they do like, week 3 is like talking about budget, like, did I already do that? To apply for this, but really, it really does help you formalize your thought process and what you're doing in your project, and how you're doing it, and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it just helped, not just that, but also develop, if you don't know what you don't know, so that's how you're gonna learn it by attending this class. And it's really informal, it's really easy, you know, she's not just talking at you, you get to talk to the other people on the thing, they ask questions. It's not schoolwork, it really is about, you know, you go through these things, if you already know this particular topic, cool, but you're gonna learn a lot about what the difference is between a bio and an artist statement. And it's like, going in, I was like, aren't they the same thing? And they're not. But it's very easy, you're gonna learn everything, you know, they're very flexible on the time. You can't make a class, which I couldn't once. I just told her, I watched the video that later, you're gonna have questions, it's gonna answer them. So it's really about, for some people, it's not gonna be about learning things, it's gonna be refining stuff. But I did have someone who was like, oh, this made me really think about my project actually made changes based on going through this class. So it is beneficial for everybody, at least just how much it benefits you as doing. So.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I had the same kind of thing, we went to the same grant class, and a lot of the same things that I picked up in it was like perspective. Your art project's very different than mine, but there's a lot of similar lessons. When we sit in a room, we talk, we go sit on a computer and talk to each other about it, you get that perspective. And so like, even if you've got a solid budget and you know exactly where you're gonna spend all your money, things are gonna change. And having that perspective to bounce off your peers is really, really beneficial and very helpful.
Thank you. And that brings one more, just one thing I want to say real quick before we move on. I'll answer the questions though. But things do change, right? Something might come up where you want to pivot your project, or there was something that you didn't need and now there's something else that you do need and you want to make changes to your budget. That's totally fine. Just let us know. Let us know what it is, and we're good. As long as it's within the 3,000, as long as you stay within your budget, you can make changes if something else comes up. Yeah, I have a question here, and then John.
Thank you. It more was a compliment to you guys for, I've been doing writing grants and getting awards and working with state government and how reimbursable contracts, how disproportionate or underrepresented communities have difficulty to come up with that startup money. So this is wonderful that you guys were able to do that. And just from that alone, having to do the class so we can get the payment is worth its salt. And so we really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. And John, I'll let you bring the mic to you, man. Last one, and then we'll move on to general operating support.
And my words are just mainly a compliment to the work that you guys have
Oh, we
been
like
doing.
those.
And, well, I anticipated this really gruesome application process and everything, and for somebody who wasn't really used to doing that sort of thing, I could have found it really any easier. And they are there for you and are very responsive to your questions and your concerns. And you can contact them through Submittable that Gabby had mentioned. And so there's a messaging center, a tab in there where you can communicate either there. I don't know what you prefer, but you've been responsive via email, and because you provide your emails in there. And also through the forum. So it's other than what you already pointed out, that budget spreadsheet is a little wacky, but but other than that, I just it was a pleasant experience for me all the way through.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, whichever is easier for you guys to connect with us, be it email, through Submittable, you can call us, whatever it might be. Oh, one more question. Where was the, oh, yes, okay. This is the real last one.
Just talking about, the first part is wellness. So gardening and canning, I'm like, how did that not fall under your wellness aspect?
Sure, it was, yeah, it was a difficult, saying no is never easy, right? And, part of it had to do with, the food preservation piece, and then, we have to stack it, it's stacked against other applications as well. But I do hear what you're saying, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Especially for indigenous folks,
Yes.
those foods are really important.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But is it art?
Is it art? You ask an elder, they're gonna say, yeah.
Art is subjective.
And the thing is, we have multiple people on our panel, so each one of us has a different view of the application, and they were all scored by like 4 or 5 people. So when they're all weighted together, the averages is what we take the highest of.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Yeah.
We got plenty of fat people in the world, we need healthier people.
You're not wrong.
Gardening is good.
I was going to ask you privately about this, but the idea keeps coming up now. I have in possession 2 slabs from a very old tree from the mountains. It's at least 900 years old. But it is an encyclopedia of climate, and it takes work to sand it, polish it, repair it, stain it correctly, to donate to a local arboretum. Is this an art craft project, or am I looking at personal hobby? I mean, it takes equipment, it takes time, I have to travel to the slab, I mean, all of that. But in the end, it's an educational piece that will last for decades.
Yes, that absolutely is something that would fall under the SAP grant. So as long as it is, something like that, as long as you can make it work within the $3,000 budget, that would absolutely qualify.
Education is a big part of it. I mean, if you've ever been to the Puyallup Fairgrounds and you've seen the agriculture section where they actually have the canned goods in the really nice display and they have the signs next to it, that's a good reason how to include canning into art and education. Same with the wood. If you have even like a segment on the side that explains why this is so important, that'll add points.
All right, Shiloh. Okay, so we're gonna move to our.
I'm sorry. You brought up the difference between the $3,000 grant and the $25,000 grant.
So that's what we're about to do right now. So the $3,000 grant is for individuals, right? And so we're the only state in the country that has a program like this that gives funds to individuals directly to do art projects. But now we're going to talk about our other one, our general operating support grant. And this is for organizations that do ongoing art support, okay? So what I mean by ongoing art support is something that you are doing weekly, monthly, quarterly, something like that, to where it's not like we've had organizations get denied because it's saying, hey, we have an event. If you fund us, we'll give veterans a discount to get into our event. You're not getting funded. You're not getting funded, hands down. If you don't have ongoing programming and support of arts programming, you will not get funded through a general operating support. That's not to say you can't have something annual, like an annual thing. But what type of follow-up, what type of ongoing support comes with that? All right, so again, just like our other one, it opened today, closes October 1st. We start sending out notifications on December 1st. That doesn't mean everybody's gonna get a notification on December 1st, because we should have close to 100 notifications go out if everything goes correctly, goes the way that we want them to. So it might give us 2 weeks to send out your notification. If you don't hear something from us by mid-December, then connect with us and let us know what the status is on that. All right, and this is up to, so it's up to $25,000 per organization. And I will say, last year, we had to cut it down from 35 to 25 for this year just because of the budget. And last year, we had 35 organizations qualify. So that meant about $10,000 per organization. So just getting accepted does not mean that you will get the full $25,000. It depends on the score and the strength of the other applications, right? And how many folks qualify, all right? So 501c3s, nonprofits, tribal, state, municipal government agencies, national nonprofits with Washington-based chapters, so like the VFWs, American Legions. Those are organizations that can apply for our funding. We don't fund for-profit businesses. So, and then must have operated for at least 2 continuous years and have at least 1 staff member or be willing to train 1 staff member to work with military-connected individuals. That could be, it doesn't have to be a base, it could be a volunteer, be however it is, but we do want whoever you have working with military-connected individuals to be trained to work with those individuals, right?
Question?
Yes.
On the eligibility Washington State 501c3 nonprofits, what about nonprofits that are fiscally sponsored by 501c3? They have to be IRS 501c3?
No, we do take fiscally, if you're fiscally sponsored, we do that. We would just you would just have to put that, you'll be able to put like the funding, whoever would manage the grant in the application. I have a question here. Did you have a question too? Or you just, okay. Got it.
Thank you. Regarding the 2 continuous years, got an organization, we actually just got our 501c3 awarded this past January. The previous organization was also a 501c3, but they had to close their doors because of some inappropriate activities by the previous board and whatnot. So it's a new organization, new 501c3, but the team is the same.
Yeah, that's fine. Just put that in your application. Yeah, that's fine.
That was kind of my question.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. If you were previously, or if you're starting new, if you were part of a previous organization and are continuing but under a new name, that's fine. Just let us know in the application. There'll be a spot for you to do that. As well as if you've been in operation before but have never had, but you're launching a new program for military connected arts, that's fine too. There's a spot for you to put that in our application. Yes.
Non-clinical settings.
Oh yes, non-clinical settings. Yes, for we don't fund like mental health organizations. So this is supposed to be like non-clinical arts programming.
Looks like an art.
Connect with me, and we can. I'd probably have to get a little bit more info, and I'd probably have to take that up the chain a little bit to give you a good. I don't want to like give you an answer right now. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that.
But like, generally speaking, not mental health hospital.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, this is community based. Just more in a non-clinical setting. Go ahead.
That was it?
Oh, that was it. All right. So let's go to the application. So this application is a little bit more than the SAP application. There's a little bit more requirement to it. Again, don't miss that deadline. We don't do exceptions for deadlines.
Yes. Kind of explains the eligibility we just talked about.
Yeah, so non-eligible are individuals, for-profit businesses, political or advocacy organizations, or organizations seeking to fund projects or programs that promote religious content or observance, so.
Statewide vendor number.
Yep. Use of funds, so you have to use funds from that. You can get this grant is straight reimbursement. So if you are awarded this grant, you will be able to, as an organization, you can get reimbursement from July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And because it's general operating support, as long as you're a program that provides arts programming to military connected, you can use this funding to pay your rent, help pay your staff, right? Get supplies. It's general operating, so you can use that for what you need to continue operating as an organization.
What it cannot be used.
Yes, so re-granting, so you can't take our grant funds and use them to give grants, right? You can't re-grant to scholarships, renovation, remodeling, restoration, or new construction of buildings, purchase of permanent equipment with a cost of $5,000 and up, or real property. You can't use it to travel outside of Washington, costs or activities outside of the grant period. Previous losses or debts incurred by the organization, or costs and activities that have already received state appropriations. So if you've already getting funding, you need to use our funding for something else, right? Or supporting specific events that does not also provide military connected programming, okay? All right, again, no exceptions to the application deadline. I'm just trying to hammer that in as much as I can. I don't want people to contact us and say, I missed the application, can I still get money? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. Again, you can appeal if you don't get awarded a grant through the General Operating Support Grant. You are able to appeal. The process is on the application. Okay, so here's where we get into it, right? We want to know your organization type. Have you been in continuous operations for at least 2 years? Right? You could have paused if, due to the pandemic, but not ceased operations completely, right? Have you offered 2 years of arts programming for military connected individuals? It's not a disqualifier if you haven't. We want to know if you have one professional staff person with experience managing arts programs. And so this is our eligibility form, right?
Yeah.
So again, this is what you fill out first, right? And scroll back down.
I'll have to
Oh yeah,
do
so.
some of it to kind of.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. And then arts programming, I want to read this out though, just refers to structured activities that serve military connected individuals and communities conducted under the supervision of the staff, occur on a consistent schedule, yield quantifiable results. All right, and then you could put yourself down under project in what it is, what your art program is, right? Work that you've done in the past, so your program history. So put in things that you guys have done in the past. There's a couple examples on there, pretty self-explanatory. When these are scored, so please describe in intended, scroll right down, sorry. In detail the intended use of grant funds. So tell us what you want to do with the $25,000 or however much you ask for. What's your goals? What's your plan? Again, just like the SAP grant, be specific, right? Are you launching a new program? Again, you can put NA if not applicable, right? Totally fine. But if you are new, or if you want to start a new arts program, we encourage that. We don't want people to not apply because they think, oh, this isn't something that we've done before. But put in what you're going to do and how it's going to be successful. Like, tell us in this piece how your new arts programming is going to be successful. Right? Type of individuals your organization serves. Right? Again, this is one that you can click one, you can click all of them. Right? And we want to know how you ensure arts programming is culturally responsible and relevant to military connected individuals. Right? So specific strategies or community engagement work. Have you worked with military connected folks before? If so, how did that go? Do you have folks on your staff as part of your organization who are military connected or are culturally aware here of the military community. I was at you guys would not believe this, or maybe you would because you work in this space. I was at a national meeting in DC a couple years ago, and I had made a comment about if you want to build veteran programs, you need to have veterans as part of the decision-making process. That seems like something pretty simple, right? And it looked like I blew these people's minds when I said that. They were like, oh my gosh, that makes so much, and I'm like, how have you never thought of this before? Like, what are we doing here? But it's that type of stuff that we want to know in here, right? Do you have military connected members as part of your board, as staff members, whatever that might be? And then we've also, if you don't want to type it out, if you want to record us a video telling these things, you can do that, and you can upload it right there. Other programs at ArtsWA have done this and have found it to be pretty successful. So it's an option, not required. Right? So design and delivery, this is 40 points, right? Describe your organization's capacity. Can you spend the money?
Yeah.
That's the simple way to put it. That is the simple way to do it. Can you spend the money that we are going to give you? Right? Because the worst thing that we can do is fund an organization and then partway through they say, hey, we're not going to be able to spend all these funds. Because then those funds get unspent and they go back, and we might not ever see those funds again. So it's really super important that you tell us your capacity to deliver what you're trying to do. How are you going to spend this money? Can you spend this money in that time frame?
Yep.
Okay? And then the structure of your current art program, are you doing workshops, drop-ins, weekly sessions? How does it support your goals and what you're trying to do? How frequently you offer them? Right? Who facilitates, right? Or do you have paid staff members, volunteers, whatever it might be? I'll scroll back up a little bit. You know, who facilitates your art programming, right? Those are things that we want to know. Are they trained or experienced in engaging military connected communities? That's another thing that we really want to know. And then this is a spot where you can upload documents to us that might help your application. It's not required, but if you have program brochures, photos from events that you've done in the past, things like that, bios of your staff members or teaching artists, right? That's your place to kind of upload those to us. All right. Access and reach, right? This is something important we want to know too. Are you able to reach the community that you're trying to serve? Right? How does it address the needs of the counties you serve? What strategies will you use to ensure inclusive, accessible participation for all community members? Right? How are you going to serve the people that you're wanting to serve? Be specific. Tell us the strategies that you have used in the past and that you plan on using. Right? And then again, another budget sheet. Right? This one's a little bit different. We want to know what you're using the funds for, right? Are you using it for supplies, transportation, marketing, training, utilities, insurance, paying staff, whatever that might be? Make sure you break it down as specific as possible, right? If you're requesting the full $25,000, make sure you have $25,000 worth of expenses in this budget. All right? And here's some examples of estimations of things that you can put down. We've tried to make it as easy as possible, but if you have questions, you can always reach out to us, right? And then the grant amount requested, if there's something that didn't fit in the budget sheet, you can list those costs in other. The limit is 2,000 words, so you can add a lot to that. Okay, and now here's what we require. We want your organization budget, right? We want to know the full budget of your organization. We want, if you are a nonprofit, we want that IRS determination letter. I didn't put that as required because not everybody, we also support tribes and state and local municipal agencies as well. But if you are a 501c3, you do have to submit these, the 990 form. And then the other piece is, I certify our organization is not applying for other ArtsWA grants to support the same project expenses and services. That's not to say you can't apply for another grant at ArtsWA, but if you are applying for a grant from WAM to do the military arts program, you cannot apply for another grant at ArtsWA to also do military arts program, but we will find out your grant will get canceled. It'll be a whole thing. We don't want to do that, right? All right, so we've got just under 15 minutes left for questions on, if you have, I know we answered a ton of SAP grant questions, so if you have any more SAP grant questions, just come talk to us at our table. But if you have any general operating support questions, now is the time. Yes, sir, I'm gonna bring the mic over to you.
Our nonprofit works with data veterans and teaches LGBT veterans of color, and what we're seeing, especially within our tribal communities, is as these young service members are returning to their homelands, they want to learn their language. So we've partnered with a number of language instructors and elders who are willing to share that knowledge now, but we do it via drum making.
Yeah.
Painting, drawing. The focus is on the language, but there's the other art aspect of the various cultures that we embed into it as they're learning what the different pieces are called in their particular language. Is that something that we would then look at? Like this?
Definitely. That something like that would definitely qualify. Yeah, 100%. Yes, absolutely.
Better be on the talking about first.
That's fine. And you know what? If we didn't allow that, I would want you to talk about it. Like, yeah, no, that's definitely allowed. Any other? Yeah, I'm going to give you the mic.
Language.
So say somebody applies for the large grant, they qualify for $19,000. 2 months in, they find out the project's gonna be another month and they need the full 25. Is that something they just reapply for? Do they tell the board?
So no, the grant, they would only be allowed to use, they would have to find come up with the other 6,000 on their own. You would only get the awarded amount, yes. Yeah, unfortunately. I wish I had the funds to cover the full amount for everything, but even applying for the full 25,000 doesn't necessarily mean, even if your application is perfect, we could have 10 other perfect applications or 20 other perfect applications that we're gonna have to break it down a little bit more. So, yeah, any other questions? Yes, sir. No, you get the microphone.
Come on, Will.
See how you keep saying about, if you have 10 perfect or 20 perfect applications, what is the total amount available for this particular program this year?
So we have a total, I want to say $350,000 total for this grant. It seems like a lot, but when you get 30 great organizations applying, it doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out the way that everybody wants. But, that's one of the reasons why the applications are scored now, is so we can try and provide a little bit more funding to more qualified organizations based off the application score. That's not what I want. I would love to give everybody the full amount, but that's just not the budget in the world of the budget that we live in. So we've already had to cut one grant completely out of our program just to keep these two alive. So I'm on life support here. So with our funds, and it's just one of those things where it is what it is, and we're grateful for the funds that we do get, and that's part of why those letters to your state reps are so important, because it allows the people who give us funding to see the work that you all are doing. Not that we're doing, we're just providing the funds, but you are the ones out there doing the work. You're doing the projects, right? You're doing the arts programming, you're getting connected with the folks within your communities and everywhere across the state. So that's why those letters are so important, and the final reporting piece is so important, because we're able to prove what we do to be able to continue to get the funding. So I will leave you with that, and just thank you everybody for your time. If you're wanting kind of a break from folks like me and Gabby talking at you for 90 minutes, I highly recommend hanging out in here for the next session is Music Works for Veterans. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna split open the middle right here. We're gonna put a circle, and you guys are gonna have the opportunity to jam out. no prior musical experience required. Come as you are, hang out, listen to music, play some music, and just relax and like take a break from everything else that's going on. We're offering that today and then tomorrow as well. So highly encouraged that John is an incredible person. His organization is amazing. So if you guys are able to stick around for that session, Gabby will be here. It'll be great.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time, everybody. And if you have other more questions, come find me at the table. I'll be here